My 600-pound life. So I've watched this show before, and you have too, My 600-Pound Life. And I'm always thinking, okay, what are the producers and writers thinking? What are they wanting the audience to get out of this? And with that show, here's what I think they want you to think. You're like, wow, that's a large person. How do they get that big? How do they not look in the mirror after 400 pounds and think, I need to change something? How you ask yourself these questions, and then you're just fascinated by as you see how their life is and how do they live that way. But ultimately, for me, when I watch the show, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it always comes back to some kind of psychological thing that happened in their childhood. That's why these episodes, that's why this show exists, My 600-Pound Life. In every episode, I've yet to find an exception, they'll tell you this traumatic thing that happened to them in their youth that caused them to just keep eating until they couldn't eat anymore. This destructive behavior is not random. It's not because they're simply hungrier than other people. What I've seen is it's often some kind of defense or coping mechanism that they take to an extreme. And there's another show, My Strange Addiction. Same exact. I had to stop watching that show just because it was so sad. Like, okay, well, what horrible thing happened to this person when they were young? Because that's ultimately what it's not that people are just so hungry that they can't stop eating. It's a psychological trigger based on trauma. That's why that show exists. And I think ultimately, and I mean, I don't want to make you think that I watch it all the time. In passing, when it's on, I've seen it. And for me, I'm psychologically deconstructed when I watch it and think, this is something I want to make a video about because I want to talk more about this. But it does feel, though, that we're exploiting these people. Not even so much for their weight and their lack of health and the fact that they're dying while they're alive, but we're exploiting this, whatever this thing that happened to them when they were young that caused them to have such destructive, constant behavior and choices. And in that way, it feels like we're exploiting these people for that. What are your thoughts on that? Can you relate to me in what I think? Or do you have something to add? I'm very curious. You've seen the show. What are your thoughts on my thoughts and the show? Right here.